Welcome back to Drawlords, where we make all sorts of D&D builds, today's build being the true Tankiest caster in 5th edition. This character is going to be slinging huge AoE elemental spells and walking right through them relatively unharmed, not limited to the frail body of normal sorcerers. Starting off with the core idea of this build, we want to stack as many hit points and resistances as possible, so that we can cast AoE spells on both ourselves and the enemy, and then get into melee to deal big damage, then teleporting back out in another explosion. To get a strong base for this build, we're going to go either Hill Dwarf for an extra hit point per level, or Dragonborn for a resistance to a damage type, giving us some nice durability buffs. Dwarf will be more useful in general, as the extra hit points are always going to be used, however the Dragonborn resistance will do more in cases where it is used. Both races synergise very well with the main class of this build, being Draconic Bloodline Sorcerer. On the durability side, this gives us 1 additional hit point per level in this class, and an AC of 13 plus Dex based on the toughness of our newly scaled skins. And then at 6th level we can gain an additional resistance to the damage type of a spell we cast within 1 hour. During this build we're going to use 1 stat increase to get the feat Tough, giving us an extra 2 HP per level, which wraps up our early prep to become the Tankiest caster. To total it all up, the Dwarven Path gives us 4 extra HP per level, a base 13 AC and a versatile resistance, while the Dragonborn gives us 3 HP, a 13 base AC and 2 resistances, 1 static, 1 versatile. This gives us more HP than a Barbarian per level when we're using averages and the same constitution score, because we get 7 HP average at 10 con and a Barbarian gets 6 at 10 con. That's not too shabby if you ask me. Now we know we are going to be a hardy character, we can use Sorcerous Metamagic to make this even more awesome. At 3rd level, when we gain the Metamagic feature, we are choosing the Careful spell and the Transmute spell options. The first allows us to choose creatures including ourselves to auto-save our spells that require a save, i.e. Fireball, and the second allows us to turn that Fireball into an Ice Ball, Acid Ball, Poison Ball, Lightning Ball or Thunder Ball. You can use this feature on other spells that deal any of those damage types, but that was fun to say. Ideally you'll want to be choosing damage types that you resist, so that in the likely event that you hit yourself, you are barely harmed after taking quarter damage. Now that we can adequately create havoc and survive our own chaotic spells, what are we going to do after we walk through the smoke and ash like a badass towards our enemies? Well, that's where a single level in Hexblade comes in. The first of many features from this level dip is the ability to use Charisma for our weapon attacks and damage rolls with a single weapon you choose. This instantly gives us a strong melee option, but there are a few ways to buff this weapon even more, a couple coming from Hexblade itself. The cantrips Booming Blade and Green Flame Blade are great options for a single attacking character. Bonus damage on these attacks is so good. The Sorcerer spell Absorb Elements is a nice defensive reaction to further reduce any elemental damage you take, but it also adds an extra 1d6 of the damage type you are hit with to your next attack. The feat Gift of the Chromatic Dragon also has the same defensive effect proficiency times per day, however you can add 1d4 damage of your chosen element damage type as a bonus action that lasts for a minute, and this works on any hits with your weapon. As for other feats this build could utilise, Gift of the Metallic Dragon could be useful for its shield-like reaction, adding to your AC. However, a more useful feat would be Elemental Adept, which allows for greater damage when using elemental spells, because when you gain this feat, you choose one of the following damage types: Acid, Cold, Fire, Lightning or Thunder, and spells you cast ignore resistances to the damage type you choose. In addition, when you roll damage for a spell you cast that deals that damage type, you can treat any 1s on damage dice as 2s. This can be pretty much any spell you cast because of your Metamagic options. The Warlock spells Shield and Armour of Agathis are both more useful defensive survivability options for this build to help you survive. However, you may find yourself needing to escape. There is one excellent option: Thunderstep. This teleport is an amazing disengage tool that still deals good damage, so you don't feel like you've wasted your turn, especially if you've Booming Bladed and then your enemies try to chase you, taking that extra thunder damage. I like to imagine this character in a cave somewhere where bandits are committing evil, maybe loading a caravan with illegal goods. This character walks towards them from the darkness, suddenly exploding in a fiery inferno. As the scorched bandits look around panicked, through the clearing smoke lunges a sword-wielding vigilante. He strikes with thunderous booms and slashes at you with another swing. You try to flee but are suddenly struck by a cacophonous boom in your chest, the force knocking you off your feet. As you look up, you see your fellow bandits suffering the same fate. Suddenly, with a final earth-shattering boom, your assailant is gone. And there's the build. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, make sure you check the description down below to check out that Fiverr page where we create D&D content homebrewed for your specific D&D campaigns. We can also do art for that same content, so if that sounds good, check it out, and I'll see you in the next video.